when you're a teacher, there are some times when you have to deliver some really difficult information to the parents, especially behavior. So how do you do that without putting the parents on the defensive? In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you some ideas that I learned from a teacher who was able to do just that. Miss Veronica was one teacher who had a magnificent way of communicating with parents, and that I think it was amazing to see that kind of connection she built with parents, even though I've worked with teachers before who were able to do that. What sticks out for me about Miss Veronica was there were some things that I picked up on that she would do that really impressed me. You see, I struggled with communicating with parents throughout most of my career. It didn't necessarily have to do with anything wrong or that went wrong. It could have been something as simple as just wanting to share or that needed to be shared. I was the type of teacher that was like, put me in the classroom, let me do what I do and get the children from point A to point B. But put me in a situation where I had to talk to the parents, for instance, with the dreaded small talk at arrival time, and it was a complete mess. Then there were afternoon pickup conversations, which sometimes involved difficult information to deliver. But I knew that I had to do it, so I felt like I just had to get over it. I was able to get through it day after day, month after month, year after year, but it was something that I struggled with for a very long time. Let's not even talk about parent-teacher conferences. They were the worst because there you had to spend and fill every moment of 30 minutes talking with them the whole time. But after a while, I was able to create a system that really worked for me, that I was able to deliver the information that I needed without feeling awkward or tongue-tied. And if you're worried about parent-teacher conferences and what to say and what to talk about to fill that block of time, or if you have already went through some parent-teacher conferences where you felt that your best did not come across, I got you. Check out this resource filled with answers that will really help you prepare and come across as the professional you are. It did for me, and it's in the description. If you are new to this channel, I have talked before about me being an introvert. And the one thing that introverts do not like is small talk. But give me a deep conversation, a conversation that really engages me, and I am there. I am all in. But back to Miss Veronica. I just started off with just admiring how she was able to interact with the parents. I would just see her effortlessly talking to them, and then I started to really listen in on what she was talking about and how she was talking to them, and I picked up that there was a pattern or certain things that she would do a lot. I don't know if she realized that that's what she would do, but it's what I noticed. Let me know if any of these things sound familiar to you. In the past, I just thought that because I was an introvert, I was perhaps socially awkward, that it just didn't come to me like some other people, and that maybe they were just outgoing, that was their personality that made them able to hold conversations. And I just thought that it wasn't part of my personality. And it just took me a really long time to warm up to people and be able to have a conversation with them without feeling like a dork. Another thing that I thought was the problem was just not having enough experience. And the other teachers that I saw had 10 plus years, that I just didn't have enough experience or practice communicating with parents about their child. The other thing that I thought, which you may also be feeling as well, is that maybe I just didn't know enough about being a teacher to talk professionally to parents. So there was an imposter syndrome that had taken over for a long time, that perhaps I didn't belong in the classroom teaching if I couldn't hold a conversation with the parents. The funny thing is, I met a lot of teachers along the way who considered themselves introvert or introverted, but still were able to communicate with parents articulately. So instead of me thinking that it was just not my personality and throwing my hands up and being like, oh, well, this is just the way things are, I actually took the time to really kind of study what it was Miss Veronica was doing and thought that perhaps it could help me. And now I'm passing it along to you so that you won't feel as awkward as I did all those years. It will help you with day-to-day interactions and with situations that require some difficult conversations. And we had our fair share of difficult conversations, and a lot of those conversations were led by her because she just had a way of bringing the topic up or approaching the topic in a way that kind of disarmed the parents. They didn't feel attacked. They didn't seem like they were angry. They seemed more like they were just concerned. So when we had these talks, there wasn't a blowback to us in any kind of way. And part of that, I believe, was because of her style of being able to talk to the parents. I was super thankful to have her to be able to help with those kinds of interactions, because I don't think my delivery would have been effective as hers. So before I go into sharing 3 things I learned from Miss Veronica, I do want to state that it is important to build a relationship with the parents prior to having any kind of difficult conversation. When you start the year off with not only building relationships with the children, which is obvious, but also building the relationship with the parents, it makes such a huge difference when and if you have to ever deliver difficult information. If you're able to get the parents on your side and really nurture that relationship at the beginning, when you have to say that their child had a difficult day, they will be more understanding and more cooperative than if you never really spoke to them other than the cordial hi and bye. Because keep in mind that you will need them before they will need you. And it'll just be easier to discuss any concerns you may have when you have built that foundation. Even though Miss Veronica had a knack for talking to parents and was able to use the strategies or tactics that I will be telling you about in a moment, I just want to stress that she didn't wait until something happened to build a relationship with the parents. She was building and nurturing the relationship from the very beginning, from day one. I do not mean becoming their friend either. I'm just talking about building a relationship with them where there's mutual respect and where they look at you as not only as someone who cares for their children, but also putting their mind at ease by knowing that you have their child's best interest at heart. On to the tactics that Miss Veronica used in her conversations with the parents. And keep in mind that I'm pretty sure there are a lot more, but these are the ones that stuck out to me. So the way that I look at her conversations that she had with parents kind of fell into 3 categories. Category number 1 is questions. Ask questions. Be curious. Many people like to talk about themselves. She was so great with that, really trying to get to know the parents, and she showed genuine interest. I do want to point that out. Don't just ask questions just to fill the dead air. Ask questions that you really want to know the answer to. The second category is sharing stories. So if you have some related stories about what's currently going on in the classroom or about that parent's particular child, whether it is your child that may be doing similar things, or maybe they did do similar things, or maybe you're interested in similar things, Or maybe it was you, and sometimes it doesn't even have to do with the kids at all. Maybe it's a similar interest that the parent has that you also share. So again, you want to be authentic. Don't make up stories. There were many conversations that she had with parents where she brought up her own daughter and what her daughter was up to. Even though her daughter was older than them, she drew on the experience her child had as a preschooler, as a pre-K kid. And the third category is consistency. So being consistent with communication with the parents before there is an issue. So daily messages like what the class did that day, or send emails and maybe even phone calls, etc. Parents love when you send them information, fun facts, fun ideas and activities that their child came up with or that they were involved with in school. Share those things that are fun, that are light, that are funny before you have to go to them about something more serious. I really wanted to give Miss Veronica her flowers because this was a huge battle for me, and those 3 tactics may be overlooked and seem so simple, really are a gold mine when you are a teacher. Whether you are introverted, shy, socially awkward, or just looking for ways to start conversations with the parents. Don't miss out on the opportunity to build and strengthen that relationship with them early. So anyway, I hope that you are able to use these tactics immediately and have so much success. Share in the comments how you are building relationships with your students' parents. And if you want to learn how this mentor teacher taught me how to use story time as a classroom management tool, check out this video here.